So, Byron, you're at, like we were talking about before, you're at an interesting transition in kind of the way you're doing your business.
Doing my business.
Doing your business. So, the things I was interested in hearing about is, one thing that I've never really talked to you about before is how you got into the gallery business in the first place, and then just sort of how it's gone, and then this kind of transition that you're going through into working without a space.
Okay, well that's interesting. How did I get into the art business? And for some reason, I ended up in the one of the galleries downtown, one of the more commercial galleries, and I ended up getting hired, and I worked with them for about 9 years. So all of a sudden, I got in the art business, kind of by accident.
What were you doing when you were working with that gallery?
Selling. So
okay.
They put me on the floor, and I was selling art. So, and it took a long time. It takes kind of a long time to learn, but it was a great training ground. It's funny looking back on it that I got into the being an art dealer because I needed a straight job from the music business,
right?
Which is ridiculous, you know. I mean, there's one is probably as hard as the other.
How did you go from working on the floor of the commercial gallery downtown to opening up your own space?
After a while, I think the pleasure as an art dealer is that you get to handle the art you want to handle. It's not an idea. I think a lot of sometimes artists, not all of them, I don't want to make generalities, but you get the idea that the dealer is just in it for the money. And that's almost like saying that the artist is almost in it, is just in it for the money. I think what I got out of it is I loved defining what I was into. But I think, I've said this before, but when the artist does the work, it's all about them. And when I decide whether to bring it in my place or not, it's all about what I want. And if the person, you know, you kind of have to tell the story to the person that buys it, or you work with them, and it's all about them at that point. So it's very self-centered at every level. You know?
So when you make a decision about what to put up in your space, is it never a consideration? Like, well, I love this, but it wouldn't sell. Like, do you?
Well, I think when I evaluate things, first of all, it's do I like it. Then I never was a big one for having 100 artists in my stable. I kept it pretty trim because I almost felt like when I was a booking agent, if you got one guy doing something, why have 5 people doing that? Let the one guy have that area.
Right. I was mostly just wondering, like, how you kind of balance that, like your.
Well, I guess what I was going to say is, like, I think the first thing is, do I like it? Then do I think it fits in with a lot of stuff I just like, but I don't want to put. Before I would bring anything into my gallery, it'd almost be a decision like, do I want to put my life behind this?
Right.
It's not just casually showing it for a little while and giving it back to them. And for me, I'd never really, you know, I didn't especially like the, you know, I guess I was sensitive to that because as a musician, you do all this auditioning and trying to get in places, and if you get in, great. If you don't, you feel like you suck, that kind of thing. And I always felt for the artists in a way that you don't want to hurt them. It's easy to, you know, to do that. So I was a little more selective about it. Before I brought somebody in here, I did a lot of thinking about all that. Do I really want to do something with this person? And I'd look at them for quite a while sometimes.
So when did you open your gallery?
Okay, it was in '94.
94.
Yeah, actually it wasn't, but it was close to '94. It was a little earlier.
And so was that when you opened that space? Was that the one that you?
That was in Wall Street. I was over on Wall Street, and the reason I did that was I just wanted to do it over there for a year or two before I brought it down to River North, because I had been very successful with the gallery I'd been at, and but I needed to get my own artists and establish, you know, just figure out how to do it myself. And that was it's a great area in Old Town over there. I was right next to, right on top of Hobo's Bar.
So how long was that?
A couple of years. Okay. It turned out, 2 years there, and then I found this space.
So that, and that
Not this one, but
the one
downstairs, the big one.
downstairs, yeah.
Well, River North was, you know, has been a big gallery area for a long, long time, and it just, you know, it's moved around, it kind of moves around from building to building, you know. But it's, I think it's still fairly strong.
Yeah. So how about this, this sort of transition to working independently of the gallery? What brought that on? How'd that come about?
I think part of it is just the way, what I enjoyed a lot in my earlier dealings was I liked being in an area where there was just a lot of traffic and people coming through, a lot of this, I always enjoyed, you know, meeting people and then showing them the artwork. And times just changed a little bit. We were blocked off terribly by the CTA for a couple of years while they redid the tracks out here. And we were blocked off on both sides of the block. You couldn't even walk through to Chicago Avenue for about 8 months.
If you look you up on, you probably know this, if you look you up on Google Maps and go down to the street view, it still shows it all blocked off like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really gives you a lot, when you're in here and you're kind of blocked off for that long, it gives you a lot of time to think.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it good thinking, some of it not good thinking. But it just, and I think the world has changed. I enjoy having a gallery in a place that people can come, but I think that, I mean, when I started out, the internet really wasn't, we didn't quite know what to make of it when it started up. And I remember some meetings with the art leaders of how we were gonna, you know. And I think it's come to a point where I have a lot of collectors, and I know a lot of artists, and I know a lot of other dealers. And it just, I think what I really, the reason I'm letting the place, the physical place go is just the fact of having to be here all those hours when there's not that much going on. I'm frankly not even saying I'll never open up another space, I mean, who knows, but for right now, I think I can probably be more effective on what you really need to do is to put my collectors and the people I've worked with for so many years, and people they know that they might refer to me or however, together with the artwork and with the artists that I actually go over to their house and be able to sit down with them and discuss talk about art, discuss what they want in their house, about what they want their environment to be. I've always enjoyed that too, like bringing stuff from the gallery over into people's houses so that they can actually see what it looks like. And so I think there's a lot to be done there.